I started waking up with bruises 3 weeks ago. Small ones at first, purple marks on my shins, yellowing patches on my forearms. I live alone in a studio apartment on the 4th floor. No pets, no sleepwalking history. I convinced myself I was just clumsy, bumping into furniture during my morning routine. But the bruises kept appearing in places I couldn't explain. The backs of my knees, my lower back, places I wouldn't hit by accident. I started taking photos each morning, documenting them. The pattern was too consistent to ignore. Every night I went to sleep fine. Every morning I woke up marked. I set up my phone to record while I slept. Just propped it on my dresser, facing the bed, and let it run all night. The first recording showed nothing. 8 hours of me lying still, occasionally shifting position. Normal sleep. But on the 4th night of recording, I saw something that made my stomach drop. At 2:47 a.m., I sat up in bed. My eyes were closed. I stayed sitting there for 11 minutes, completely motionless, like I was listening to something. Then I stood up and walked to my apartment door. I unlocked it, I opened it, and walked out into the hallway. The video continued recording my empty bed for the next 6 hours. I had no memory of any of this. I checked the hallway security footage the building manager keeps. He was reluctant but showed me after I explained I was having medical episodes. The timestamp matched. There I was, walking barefoot down the hallway at 2:47 a.m., wearing only a t-shirt and underwear. I walked to the stairwell door and went through it. The camera in the stairwell showed me descending to the ground floor, then exiting through the back door into the alley. After that, nothing. No camera coverage in the alley. The next footage of me was 6 hours later, re-entering through the same back door, walking upstairs and returning to my apartment. My expression never changed. Eyes half open but unfocused, like I was somewhere else entirely. I started deadbolting my door and putting the key across the room. That night, I woke up at 3 a.m. standing in my kitchen, holding the key. My feet were dirty. There was mud tracked across the floor from the door to where I stood. I had somehow gotten the key, unlocked the deadbolt, gone outside, and come back in without waking up. My phone was still recording. I watched it the next morning and felt my skin go cold. I had walked directly to where I'd hidden the key, picked it up without hesitation, and left. Like I knew exactly where it was, like something was guiding me. I scheduled a sleep study, but the earliest appointment was 3 weeks away. In the meantime, I tried everything. I tied a bell to my doorknob. I woke up with the bell dismantled, its pieces laid neatly on my nightstand. I started sleeping in my bathroom with the door blocked. I woke up in my bed, no memory of moving. I asked my neighbor across the hall if she'd seen me. She gave me a strange look and said yes, actually. She'd seen me outside several times around 3 a.m., standing in the parking lot, just standing there facing the woods behind our building. She thought I was smoking, so she never said anything, but she mentioned I was always in the same spot, always facing the same direction. Last night, I duct-taped my apartment key to my chest before bed. I figured if I couldn't remove it without waking up, I'd be safe. This morning, I woke up with the tape ripped off and the key missing. My feet were covered in dirt and small cuts. There were pine needles stuck to my ankles. But what terrified me most was what I found in my phone's recording. At 2:47 a.m., I sat up. I peeled the tape off slowly, carefully, like I was being deliberate. Then I stood, unlocked my door, and left. But right before I walked out, I turned back toward the camera. My eyes were open. And I smiled. I'm writing this from a hotel room. I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know where I go at night or what I do there. But I know I'm not alone when it happens. I know because this morning when I checked my phone's photo gallery, there were pictures I didn't take. Dozens of them. All taken at night. All from the woods behind my building. Most of them were just darkness and trees. But in the last photo, in the background behind the trees, there were shapes. They looked like people. They were all standing in a circle, and in the center of that circle, barely visible in the darkness, I could see myself. I was digging. I started hearing the breathing when I was 14. It happened every night, always around 2 or 3 in the morning. I'd wake up suddenly, completely alert, and I'd hear it. Slow, steady breathing coming from somewhere in my room. Not from my closet or under my bed like you'd expect. It sounded close, right next to me, like someone was lying in bed beside me, breathing softly near my ear. I'd turn on my light and search everywhere. Nothing. No one. Just me. I told my parents and they said it was probably the house settling or air moving through the vents. I wanted to believe them, but I knew what I heard. It was breathing. It continued for weeks, every night. Same time. Same slow rhythm. I started sleeping with headphones in, playing music loud enough to drown it out. But even then, I'd wake up with the headphones somehow removed, laying on my nightstand, and the breathing would be there. I'd find my headphones across the room in the morning, unplugged. I never remembered taking them out. I tried sleeping in different rooms. My brother's room when he was away at college, the guest room, even the living room couch. It didn't matter. Wherever I slept, the breathing followed, always at 2 or 3 a.m., always right next to me. My parents took me to a doctor. They thought maybe I was having auditory hallucinations, stress from school, or hormones. The doctor found nothing wrong, prescribed me anxiety medication anyway. I took it. The breathing didn't stop. I started recording at night using my phone's voice memo app. I'd set it to record while I slept, hoping to capture evidence. The first few nights, the recordings picked up nothing but silence and my own breathing. But on the 4th night, I listened to the playback and I heard it. Around 2:40 a.m., clear as anything. A second breathing pattern, different from mine, slower, deeper. It lasted for 11 minutes, then stopped. I played it for my parents. My mom went pale. My dad didn't say anything. They brought in someone to check the house. An HVAC specialist, making sure there were no weird air currents or vent issues that could create sounds. He found nothing unusual. My dad even had him check for carbon monoxide, thinking maybe I was having mild poisoning symptoms. Levels were fine. Everything was fine. Except I was still waking up every night to the sound of someone breathing next to me. And it was getting closer. I could feel it now, not just hear it. A presence in my bed, pressing down on the mattress. I'd wake up and there'd be a depression in the pillow next to mine, like someone's head had been resting there. One night, I decided I wouldn't turn on the light. I'd just lie there and wait, see what happened. I woke up at 2:37 a.m. to breathe. It was so close I could feel warm air on my neck. I kept my eyes closed, tried to control my own breathing so I wouldn't give away that I was awake. The breathing continued. Then I felt it, pressure. Something was running through my hair, slowly, gently, like someone was stroking it. I wanted to scream, I wanted to run, but I stayed frozen, pretending to sleep. The stroking continued for maybe a minute, then it stopped. The breathing stopped. The presence lifted. Everything went silent. I stayed frozen until dawn. I told my parents I couldn't sleep in that room anymore. I didn't explain why, I just refused. My dad got angry, said I was being ridiculous, that I was too old for this. My mom was more understanding. She let me sleep in their room on the floor. That night was the first night in 2 months I didn't hear the breathing. I felt safe. But at 2:45 a.m., my mom shook me awake. She was terrified. She asked me if I heard it. I didn't, but she did. She heard breathing coming from the floor where I was sleeping, right next to me. Slow, steady breathing. My dad heard it too. They both did. They finally believed me. We moved out of that house 3 weeks later. My parents told everyone it was because my dad got a new job, but that wasn't true. We just left. The breathing stopped after we moved. For a while, I thought it was over. Then, 6 months later, I was sleeping at a friend's house. I woke up at 2:30 a.m., and I heard it. That same slow, steady breathing, right next to me. I didn't tell my friend, I didn't tell anyone because I've realized something. It's not the house. It was never the house. Whatever it is, it's attached to me, and it's never going to stop. I'm 26 now. I've learned to live with it. Some nights I don't hear it, but most nights I do. And sometimes when I'm very tired, I forget to be afraid. Sometimes I just whisper into the dark, I know you're there. And the breathing changes, gets faster, excited, like it's happy I finally acknowledged it. My daughter started talking in her sleep when she turned 6. Nothing unusual at first, just mumbled words and fragments of dreams about school or her toys. My wife and I thought it was normal, but after a few weeks, the words became clearer. She would speak in complete sentences, holding full conversations with someone we couldn't see. We'd stand outside her room and listen. She would ask questions, pause like she was waiting for an answer, then respond to something only she could hear. We told ourselves it was an imaginary friend. Kids have those. It's developmental, except the things she said weren't childish. One night I heard her say, "But I don't want to forget my mommy." My wife and I were both awake in bed, and we looked at each other with the same expression. We went to her room and opened the door quietly. She was asleep, lying on her back, eyes closed, but she was still talking. "How long until I'm ready?" she asked in the empty room. Then after a pause, "Okay, I'll try harder, I promise I'll try harder." Her voice sounded different, more mature, like she was trying to sound older than she was. When we woke her up to check on her, she had no memory of speaking. She just looked confused and asked for water. The conversations continued every night. We started writing down what she said, trying to make sense of it. She talked about the lessons and the others, and getting it right this time. She apologized frequently to whoever she was speaking to, saying she was sorry for not understanding or for being too slow. One phrase she repeated often was, "I'm not supposed to remember yet." My wife wanted to take her to a child psychologist. I agreed, but the night before the appointment, something happened that changed everything. I was sleeping when I heard my daughter's voice coming from the hallway, not from her room, from right outside our bedroom door. I opened the door and found her standing there in the dark, perfectly still, eyes closed. She was asleep but standing upright in the middle of the hallway. "Sweetheart," I whispered. She didn't respond, then she spoke, but not to me. "He's awake now," she said. "Should I go back?" A pause, then, "Okay. I'll tell them tomorrow." She turned and walked back to her room, climbed into bed and continued sleeping. I followed her and sat in the chair in her room for the rest of the night, watching her. She didn't move again. In the morning, she woke up and smiled at me like everything was normal. The psychologist said it was parasomnia, a sleep disorder, sleepwalking combined with sleep talking, not uncommon in children her age. Stress, changes in routine, even growth spurts could trigger it. She prescribed some behavioral techniques and told us to keep her on a strict sleep schedule. We tried everything. It didn't stop. If anything, it got worse. My daughter started sleeping with her eyes partially open. Not fully, just enough that you could see the whites. And she would turn her head to follow sounds, even though she was asleep, like she was aware of us in the room, watching. Then one night, my wife shook me awake in a panic. She was pale, shaking. "Listen," she whispered. I heard my daughter's voice coming from her room, but it was different. Lower, almost monotone. She was reciting something, numbers. Coordinates, I realized. Latitude and longitude. She repeated the same sequence 3 times, then stopped. My wife had written them down. We looked them up on our phone. The coordinates pointed to a location about 40 miles from our house. A rural area, farmland, nothing significant on the map. We decided we had to see it. Something was very wrong and we needed to understand what. We drove out there the next day while our daughter was at school. The coordinates led us to an old property, mostly overgrown, with a collapsed barn and the foundation of a house that had burned down years ago. There was a historical marker near the road. A family had died there in 1973. A father, mother, and their 6-year-old daughter. Fire, no survivors. My wife started crying. I felt nauseous. We didn't talk the entire drive home. That night, we sat our daughter down and asked her gently if she'd ever heard of that place. She looked at us with this calm expression, too calm for a child, and said, "That's where I used to live." She doesn't talk in her sleep anymore. But sometimes, late at night, I'll walk past her room and see her sitting up in bed, awake, staring at the wall. When I ask if she's okay, she just nods and lies back down. Last week, I found a drawing she'd made at school. It showed a house on fire and 3 stick figures inside. Above the house, she'd drawn another stick figure floating. When I asked what it meant, she said, "That's me leaving." Then she smiled and went back to coloring. My wife and I don't talk about it. We don't know what to say, but we both know our daughter isn't just our daughter anymore.